Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Schade. I'm the director of the Division of Agriculture, and we're here on our noon Thursday program today. We've got Jody Anderson from the University Research Center here out in Palmer. So I'm really excited to have Jody out to talk to us. She didn't like being called doctor, so I just call her Jody, and we go on. But really great team out there, really smart researchers like us in ag. We all do things lean and mean. And so today I just wanted to sit down and chat with Jody a little bit and let her tell you what's going on out there this year. COVID's got us all doing things different. So welcome to our show there, Jody. I know you do Walkabout Wednesdays. So, after you talk a little bit about what you guys are doing, let us know about what you're doing with Walkabout Wednesdays. So let's, if you got questions, folks, I'm going to have, I'll pull up and watch the chat room for questions. And with that, Jody, why don't you go ahead and kind of tell us what's going on out there?
Awesome. Thanks, David. It's my pleasure to be here today on your show. My name again is Jody Anderson. I'm the director here at the University of Alaska Fairbanks Matanuska Experiment Farm and Extension Center. And I'm not quite a PhD, so you don't have to ever call me doctor. I don't have those letters. I've got ABD, but not PhD. So, but David had asked if I would come on today and we could just talk a little bit about what's happening here at the farm. For those who aren't familiar, we are over 100 years old, and we're a 920-acre farm facility that's been part of the university system before it was a university, before we were a state. And so some of the work that's been done here in the past has been a tremendous amount of very specific variety trials to identify and actually breed for plants, different types of crops that survive and thrive in Alaska. And so just a little bit about what we're doing here at the farm right now. This summer, we have lots of research that's happening. We have what are called demonstrations, and then we also have some collections that are going on. And so just to give you an idea of what sort of things we're talking about, in terms of research, we have research plots with small grains. So we're working with Washington State University, with Canada. We've also received some seed from Sweden, and we're working on how, which varieties of small grains. So we're talking about barley, wheat, oats, and rye. These are both these are seeds, or these are crops grown for animal feed, but also for human feed as well. And so that research is kind of an ongoing thing. The really neat piece of the research is we have crops planted here in Palmer, and we have research plots, and then that's mirrored in Fairbanks. So those of you who are familiar with Alaska know that there's a big difference in climate between Fairbanks and Palmer. And so Fairbanks is more conducive to certain varieties of small grains, and Palmer's a little better for others. So that's the type of work that we're doing right now, both internally and externally in terms of research. And then the neat thing is that even though that's research and it's off of the public's view, we have plots that we've planted that are demonstration plots that are up near the road, so that people can see what barley looks like when it's growing, what wheat looks like when it's growing, and what rye and oats look like when they're growing next to each other. And we also have oil seeds, we have sunflower, and we also have some canola in that field as well. So so we try to not only do research for the, for the internal component, or for us to try to learn to help farmers do a better job here in Alaska, but we're also doing as much as we possibly can outreach to the community, so that people who are curious about different things have an opportunity to learn with us as we go forward. So we're always trying to facilitate not only learning for ourselves through the research, but then taking that research and giving it back to the community, which is really the mission of what a land grant university is all about. So we have small grain research and demonstration projects going on. We have a little bit of cover crop work that's happening, which is exciting. With regards to agronomy still, we also are doing some work with some pesticide persistence studies. And these, the idea of this is our cold soils tend to hold chemicals longer than warm soils do in the lower 48. And the question is, as a farmer gets ready to use a particular pesticide, and for the most part, in our case, it's usually weeds. Those are the biggest pests up here. But on the label, it'll tell you, how long it should last in the soil so that a farmer could then come back in another area or in that same area in another year and plant something totally different. But if that chemical is still there, it could ruin that second crop, that next year's crop, or 2 years down the road. And because we know as soil scientists that the chemistry is very different in our soils because they're cooler than in the lower 48, we're actually doing some persistence, or how long does that chemical stay in the soil in place and continue to be active, and which is a real problem, of course, if you're going to plant new things into that plot. So we've got a persistence study going on this summer. And that's a good 5-year project that we're really excited about. That's going to help a lot of our farmers around the state with a lot of the weed issues that we have. So that's kind of everything in terms of agronomy. That's a lot of stuff. Horticulture, we're really excited about this year. We have a great collaboration with the Division of Agriculture with potatoes. So the Division of Agriculture has over 200 varieties of potatoes as part of their the statewide seed certification program. And a lot of people think that, at the grocery store, there are 4, maybe 5 varieties of potatoes if you're lucky. And Division of Ag has over 200. And so we started last year partnering with the Division of Ag and locating a demonstration plot here at the farm so that people can visit and see what lots of different varieties look like. So this year, many thanks to the division, we have 134 varieties of potatoes. We planted those last Wednesday, and we will be continuing to use them as a demonstration. And by demonstration, what that means is that we keep them as kind of a teachable moment. We'll be showing the public most likely through Facebook, but maybe face-to-face if that ever happens this summer. Cultivation, hilling, why we hill potatoes, how to hill potatoes, and then the harvest, which we had last year. It was great. We had over 50 families arrive for a harvest, and they were able to walk home with anywhere between, if they were smart, they could fill their bag to about 7 pounds of potatoes, and they could get, choose from a total different variety of potatoes, which they've never eaten before. So it was very exciting to see everybody's reaction to the number of potatoes that we're growing. And our location here, we're right by the hospital, and it's a much more centralized location than the Plant Materials Center. And it's easier for us to allow the public in places here at the farm because of the types of research that we're doing, whereas at the PMC, it's a lot more difficult to kind of keep keep that contained, if you will. So it's a great partnership, and we're really happy about it. Everyone loves the potato story, and so we're just really glad to be able to play with the division there. And then a research project that's just starting. It's a specialty crop block grant project where there's actually variety selection for rhodiola, and it's a specialty crop block grant, which the Division of Ag runs that grant program. So one of our faculty members, one of our researchers, wrote that grant partnering with the with the Plant Materials Center and also rhodiola growers. And the idea is trying to figure out which variety or which breed, which type of rhodiola is the best growing, largest root producing, because that's the money component of that particular plant is the root. And so the idea is how do they know that they're actually getting really the best bang for their buck? So this is kind of preliminary research, again, a 3 to 5 year project, but thanks to the Division of Agriculture's Plant Materials Center for getting those starts going and to kind of kickstart this project. And now they've been planted out in their research plots in the field, and then variety selection goes on from there. So another example of really good relationship working with the Division of Ag. We have our variety trials. We have multiple different crops and different varieties within each crop that's happening. And it's a mirror image of research that's going on in Fairbanks. Because again, Fairbanks has very different climate than we do. And so the beets that I love to grow that do really well here in Palmer may be the total wrong variety to use in Fairbanks. And so we're doing those types of projects here, and it's phenomenal and really exciting work. And let's see, I have notes because I forget things, so there's lots. We're involved partially in a really cool research project with the peony industry. And this is a project that the Division of Agriculture is running, this amazing, huge USDA grant. And we are working on, the purpose of the grant is to develop the international market for peonies. And in order to do that, you can't have thrips on your peonies. And thrips are a nasty little bug that we need to figure out how to get rid of them before we ship them off to international markets. So there's a collaborative project that's happening with USDA's research arm, the ARS, with obviously the Division of Agriculture is running the project here. And then they're using UAF as well as part of that research, along with all the peony growers that collaborate from Fairbanks all the way down to Homer and back. So that's a really super cool project that we're excited about. Another multi-year project that's happening. Forestry wise, we have over 600 acres of forest here at the farm, so we have lots of room for research, and we're doing some preliminary baseline studies collaborating with the Division of Forestry and also the University of Utah on a dual pesticide injection into spruce trees, and then the hope is that this combo of pesticides will flow all the way through the spruce tree from root to shoot and everything in between, and serve as a repellent to the spruce bark beetle as she lays her eggs and keeps the larvae away, we hope. And so the research is great in Utah. Unfortunately, not the same trees that are here, not the same weather or any even climate for that matter, or daylight. So there's a lot of, I wonder if this is going to work questions. And it is baseline. This is just like preliminary work. It's not a huge study yet, and we'll see what happens. But those were injected last year, and so we're just keeping an eye on them at this point, which is pretty cool. We do have livestock on site. We do have beef cattle, red Angus, and we have about 13 head. I say about because I think we have a new calf, so that's pretty exciting. Those are really just they're there not so much for heavy duty research, but they're there for demonstration purposes. We artificially inseminate our cows in the fall time, and during that process, during that actual artificial insemination, we invite local veterinarians, large animal vets, and also last year was a Girl Scout troop who were interested in learning about artificial insemination, and large animal vets. My understanding is that they don't learn AI anymore in vet school. It's one of those things that most of the farmers do it themselves, and so a lot of vets don't even know how to do it. So we were able to do AI in kind of a teachable moment opportunity to help vets learn something that they just never were able to learn in school, which is kind of exciting. And so it's a long morning, but it's a good time. And so our cattle are really just we do use them as demonstration, and we do use them for large animal vets for practice and that sort of thing. So it's a lot of fun. And then, we're also, aside from all the research and kind of agricultural side of things, we're also the extension center for the Matsu Copper River Delta. And so we house not only 4-H and other youth development type courses, but we also house the state headquarters for FFA, which is really exciting. So we have a lot of youth development happening, not so much right now because of our response to COVID, but it is happening. And we also do have a tremendous amount of classes that are offered for a huge range of, home gardening and home farming, home flock care, and all the way through to what do you do after. And last week you had on one of our amazing faculty members talking about food preservation and food system development, and Julie's amazing. And so we're able to have classes about that are research based about safe techniques of food handling, preparation of different foods for storage and for long-term storage in different manners. So not just canning, but freezing and, all that sort of jams and jellies and pickles and delicious stuff. So anyway, but all of those classes happen here as well. We're also a location for a lot of community groups to come in that are related to farming and agriculture in the state. So for example, we're in normal times, not right now because of COVID, but generally speaking, we have probably 5 or 6 different groups that meet here each month for their monthly meetings. The Matsu Master Gardeners meet here. The Midnight Sun Beekeepers meet here. The peony growers group meets here. We have trail users that meet here. I'm sure I'm going to miss somebody and I'm going to feel bad. Oh, I know the Rock Garden Society meets here. So it's a really cool place to allow for kind of civic and community groups to meet as well. So we're we're kind of a little bit of everything to everyone, I hope. And we've really tried to respond to during COVID. We're working really hard to respond to a lot of the needs of our community. Suddenly people started growing gardens that had never grown a thing in their life, but they discovered very quickly how important food is to them. And so we have people who are raising chickens who've never raised a chicken before. And so there's a lot of demand for the expertise that cooperative extension has to offer. And we have responded, and I'm really proud of the group that's here. We have exploded in terms of our social media presence. We've had, in the last 90 days, we've had over 120,000 interactions on our website or on our Facebook page. Just with classes that we're offering, free classes that we're offering, videos that we're doing. You mentioned Walkabout Wednesdays. It's an opportunity for us to do outreach, getting to people, getting them information that they're looking for when we're in a time that we can't all socially meet, but we certainly can get that information to people in a more usable package. And this situation, pandemic situation, has really allowed us to stretch and grow and meet the needs of people that we weren't our audience previously, because they have work schedules that didn't allow them to come to courses or to workshops, and or they live in a place that they can't come in just whenever they want to a workshop. So now we're reaching an audience that we've never even reached before, and I'm just really proud of the work that our team has done to respond to those needs. So it's a happening place for sure.
I agree with everything you said. You know, the one thing that I do, people would, you know, as the director, it's like, so, you know, we get the stereotypical, so you have ag in Alaska, and I'm like, yes. Not only do we have traditional ag, we have some unique ag, like our reindeers, and people are like, you what? We have reindeers, we have reindeer ranching. So there's some really cool things we do, and it's really nice to hear. And that was a great, quick rundown of what you're doing. So, you know, one person said, oh, hey, I need to swing by and check that out. So during days of COVID, can you kind of tell people how they can come out and look at these plots and we can be safe? Because we really, you know, are very well aware of, now that we're opening up the state, we're having higher numbers and we want to really keep people safe. So could you talk to that just a little bit?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And I'm really excited that they're excited to come visit. Currently, we are closed to the public. So what that means is that the university has decided that even though the state has, you know, different standards and different levels of opening, the university has a lot of community interactions and human interactions that that they're worried about not wanting to be a hotspot for spread. So given that, we have a much stricter flexibility with our visitations than the rest of the state or the state of Alaska does. And so at this time, we're closed to the public. That doesn't mean that you can't tap into what we're doing. And certainly every Wednesday at 2:15, a colleague and myself wander around a different part of the farm and talk about it for about an hour. And we answer questions and we show people things. Last week we did, because we planted potatoes that morning, we did a demonstration of how to plant a potato. It was pretty complicated. But then we just talked about potatoes for a long time, the importance of certified seed potatoes. And then we walked over to our community gardens, and we're really excited that our community gardens are full this year, that we have all but I think 1 or 2 of our 8 by 20 plots have been taken. We there's a very small cost and water is included. We still have 18 by 18 foot plots that are available. If you've got a ton of seed potatoes and you don't know what to do with them, you should probably get a hold of us. And it's great in this time when people are really starting to realize and wake up to how food security impacts them and how our food system looks in Alaska and where those weak links are. People are really stepping up and realizing that they can participate and they can grow some of their own food. And so we wanted to support that with our community gardens. We dropped the prices dramatically this year. We've planted a huge, not only our variety trial field, but also we planted a large tilth garden. So all of the harvest of that garden will be donated to the Alaska Tilth Project, which is a collaboration with Alaska Pacific University and the university here. And our nutrition educators able to get food into her teachings when she's out in the public, fresh food, but also she's able to distribute that to food insecure agencies or agencies that help food insecure here in the Valley. So Kids Covered and the food bank, food pantries, different things like that are able to get fresh local food. And we're really ramping up what we're going to be able to offer to donate. Last year, after the community harvest of the potatoes, we went through and harvested everything else that was left, and we were able to donate that to the Tilth Project. Our nutrition educator last year was able to donate over 2.5 tons of food to food insecure agencies here in the Valley. So we wanted to at least match that, if not step up this year. So it's very important to us to participate and to be part of the food system here in the Valley and to be a strong link, not only as an educator, but also as a producer as well.
Well, I have really appreciated your strong leadership coming in, taking over there. You are one, you're like me, you get passionate about ag. Sometimes we get criticized for being too excited about it, but I mean, I don't think you can be too excited about ag and what we grow. I do, want you to, kind of give out your World Wide Web. So how do they find you on the web? And make sure that people know, the different ways you can get in to collect this information. And so one thing, and I'm not sure that everybody knows, in the community garden, then that's where for people to come in, they get their spot and they get to plant and manage there, right? So
Right.
I'm not sure they totally understood. You mean literally you get to rent a plot of land, you can do, and so you're like, well, it's too late. No. Radishes, things like that. There's a lot of stuff you can grow, and you can still be going out and eating that lettuce. I mean, I did that at my own house, and my first batch of radishes are coming along pretty good. So it's pretty exciting to watch and teaching the grandkids, and you're doing that for the community where they don't have that land. So I just really commend you guys for having that available. And as government, sometimes people don't realize we really are there to help you. I mean, we really are. And that's what we do. So, what you guys are doing is exciting. I mean, we got about a minute left. So why don't you tell people how they can access those online services? Because I think that's going to be key this summer. And then hopefully by fall, when it's time to do our harvesting, we'll be more opened up. So
I hope
close
so.
it out by telling everybody how they can get a hold of you guys, because you guys in the extension do a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. To find out what's really happening kind of on the spot, our most dynamic way is through our Facebook page. And so that's Matanuska Experiment Farm and Extension Center. I know it's long, but that's our name. We're on Facebook every Wednesday at 2:15. We have Walkabout Wednesday, but we also have tons of other different events that are scheduled, different classes, and you'll find out about those there. Also, you can connect to the Cooperative Extension publications page. It's a database, it's beautiful, so that you land on this database page and you can type in strawberries, and every publication that Cooperative Extension has for Alaska is boom right there. All the strawberry ones show up. So those are probably the two best things to do to kind of get to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to point out, and I'll toot the horn for you. You guys have done some great videos. You know, you took your classes online. I've looked through some of those. Hey, you know, guys, look at the video, how to plant a garden, how to do this. Julie's agreed to come back, and we're going to talk to her about food prep and storage. She's going to come back, and we're going to talk about what do you have for food emergency? Because she's got great ideas, and maybe we can get you or somebody else to come and talk about composting. Because we were talking about what not to put in. Because as you know, you watch read Mother Earth from the lower 48, and they throw stuff in our cold weather, that's not necessarily a good idea. And so, you know, I think you did a great job of explaining to people that we're different up here, we're different in different regions. And so we're going to keep doing this. So I'd love to have you back, and we'll keep talking.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, everybody, I mean, I'm getting all kinds of great comments here on the webpage. So our half hour's up. It goes fast. Thanks for going really quick. It is awesome as always to see you. Keep up the great work. Awesome. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thanks all.